Hey everybody, it's Jessica, Jess, or Pika Queen, and I'm gonna start a new thing. So every day that I work, I'm gonna videotape me coloring a page, and then it'll just go on to TikTok and YouTube. So let's start this off. Let's just go with Jigglypuff down at the bottom. Ooh. I just got new coloring pencils for this.
Meaning that he copes with whatever unpleasant or uncomfortable feelings he experiences after doing something bad by completely erasing it from memory. This isn't a totally conscious process, of course, because people can't consciously decide to erase something from memory. However, this type of dissociation is something a person can learn to do as early as childhood,
I think this should be
particularly people who have gone through severe abuse during childhood. In addition, detectives found an extremely large number of leaves inside Matthew's home. This is certainly unusual and may be a sign of a severe mental health disorder. One of the symptoms of schizophrenia is delusions, in which the person may hold strange or odd beliefs. Although Matthew has made no mention of the leaves, it's possible that he holds some type of delusion involving leaves. The sheer amount of time that it would have taken him to gather that many leaves and bring inside lends support to the theory that he likely has a very strongly held belief about the leaves.
Okay, potentially.
And I'll probably recolor in Jigglypuff a different color as well. I haven't colored in years. I have arthritis, so coloring kind of hurts. But I figured if I color one page, then it will be fine. And I'm trying my best with the video view. I know it's not great, and I'm sorry, but I am at work, and I don't really have anything to have like a showdown,
well to the detective's assertive and somewhat
a
aggressive
way
approach.
to make it
appears that he's covering
go
his
down.
ears with his arms, possibly trying to block out what the detective is
Because there's
saying.
like nothing really over me to put my phone, and this is like
He's
the
silent
best way I
again,
can
and
do
the
it.
detective allows the silence to linger in the hopes that he will make a decision as to whether he will confess. The detective mirrors Matthew's posture and body language here.
And I was hoping
Although this can
colored
be viewed as a
pencils
way
would
of
make it so it
invading
doesn't
Matthew's
hurt as
personal
bad.
space, it could also be the detective's way of trying to connect with.
Okay. I'll probably color it with two different colors, because that's something I liked to do when I was coloring back when I was younger. It makes it look better and not as not as like pasty, not pasty, but you know, like the scratch lines. Yep, I bought these
to this theme that
pencils
has Matthew
just
looking like
for
a good
this.
guy. He even uses Sarah seeing him as helpful as a bargaining chip.
I don't want you to get upset, but the reason we're driving around, we don't have to drive around. Okay, remember I came in here saying that I didn't want to drive around unless there was some value. Okay, right, that's the whole point, is will you see something that will, prompt your memory? But I want to talk about
Went to the fair yesterday. That was pretty fun, but I was running on 2 hours of sleep. I don't know how my body can do this.
From there,
It was my mom's birthday, so that's why we went. I was gonna see if I could find a lighter pink for everything else, and then darker pink for inside.
But there's part of you that wants to know. If it doesn't happen, genuinely, then it doesn't happen. I'm not gonna be upset.
No, much more peach.
Matthew seems to like the attention and pampering he's receiving from the detective and the psychologist, who are treating him with care and catering to him as they try to locate the bodies. The detective almost sounds father-like as he's talking to Matthew about doing the right thing, almost like a mentor. And the psychologist takes on a nurturing maternal role in her soft-spoken and calm way. Matthew's severe emotional immaturity appears to have elicited this sort of care from them.
Drive you, let you see it. what happens. We don't
Oops.
ask you on Christmas,
Broke the tip off.
but that's all. That's all. Okay?
Try to check them.
Yeah, let's check. Yeah, put a pair of cups on. Sure.
Or water, you like water better?
Yeah.
That's the one I just used.
Pretty good. I think I should.
This one just pink? Yes. Make loud
Whether or
noises.
not the police truly believe Matthews' claims that he can't remember what happened to the 3 missing people, they took him on a ride in an effort to refresh his memory. He didn't reveal anything. It's possible that Matthews simply wanted to escape from the interrogation room, and this car
Going
ride
over
was a
with a
break for
little
him
bit
from the
darker
intense
of a
questioning.
color.
The next day, Matthew was once again brought back into the interrogation room.
Man, there were
This is
so
now
many
day 4. The
Lafufus
detective
down at the
removes
fair.
Matthew's handcuffs.
I just
This is
looked
a
at him
gesture
and
of
knew.
goodwill in the hopes that he will appreciate it and be more cooperative with them.
My mom likes Coca-Cola stuff, so I was wanting to buy, one of the Coca-Cola Labubus, not a Lafufu, but all they had were fake ones, and I was like,
Giving
I
him
ain't
food and
spending my
coffee
money
are
on
gestures of
fucking
friendliness
fake ass
they
shit.
hope he will reciprocate.
It was like
The
20
detective
bucks
even
for
offers
one,
to
I
eat
was
up his
like,
food
no
again,
thank
trying to
you.
build rapport and seem like an ally to Matthew. He's just come out of his jail cell and may be even more receptive to the outside comforts they're providing him. He doesn't say thank you or appear appreciative, which further displays his antisocial personality.
You guys just start your day?
Pretty much. It's about 9:30. A little bit earlier. You normally an early riser or?
Like it color, it kind of changed it a little bit darker of a pink, and that's what I
This is just to
wanted.
get him comfortable with them again and get him talking. He clearly
I can't
prefers to
remember
sit
if
in
this
silence,
is
so
white
this is
or
essential for someone
what,
like
but
this.
we're gonna go with
What
like
are
a
your
light
thoughts today
pink.
after things we talked about and kind of left it last night with you feeling like you wanted to do what you could to help?
His behavior could point to severe trauma and
I
or
was gonna
mental
do that with
defect.
the feet
The
too.
detective realizes
Oh.
he must take some sort of action to get anywhere with Matthew and asks the other interrogator to step out.
Chris, could you give us a couple minutes? Did you let answer change?
I want that other one I just used. This one, I think? Bubblegum pink, yeah. Because I was gonna go over the ones
Changing
that I'm
the
doing
dynamic in the
pink
room can sometimes
with the
prove
bubblegum
useful.
pink.
The detective slides his chair closer to Matthew, invading his personal space to try to snap him out of the daze he's in.
It's not unusual.
And see if that makes it come out better.
Somebody wants to talk to one of the other, she would make a personal.
Matthew shifts in his chair, positioning himself slightly away from the detective. This may be a sign that he's trying to decrease his feelings of discomfort about the detective sitting so close to him.
More than one time that I've advocated for the person that I'm working with. as a
This
result
job right
of
now is so
going
slow.
somewhere. When I tell you that, this is what I'll do or what I can't do, or
When the detective states that he has in previous cases advocated for the suspect, Matthew quickly looks up and makes eye contact with the detective for the first time since he's been in there. This statement has piqued his interest and attention, and the detective should take note of this and continue to use this theme of him being able to help him.
What does that thing keep using?
this again.
Well, yeah,
Let's
it's
go over it with the bubblegum pink to make it a little bit different of a pink.
Like a current that computer or something. That computer is a CVSA, which is a type of computer that voice analyzes voice stress. It's kind of one of the newer types of lie detectors that we use.
I made Pikachu. I made Jigglypuff more look
Despite Matthew appearing to
red.
be in a
My
daze the
bad.
majority
I
of
should
the
have
time,
did this
his
color
question
with
about
the
a
other one,
microphone
but
shows that he's
oh
aware
well,
of
I
his
was
surroundings,
trying
and he likely has some sort of
something
plan,
different.
which is why he's wondering if he's being recorded. He's likely not as lost and distraught as he's presented to be.
What's it doing, right?
I'm not the greatest colorer, but I don't do it that often. Okay, and if I can remember,
Matthew continues to delay because he keeps discussing things that aren't relevant and then asks
I'm
to
gonna
use the
just put the
bathroom.
colors in there.
Yeah. Now, you're gonna try to overpower me, take my gun,
want like Jake.
The detective is careful to not turn his back on Matthew, just in case he snaps and tries to attack him, especially after the comments about the gun. Talking about the gun and offering to have the cuffs put back on is a very unusual interaction, to say the least. It could be that Matthew might be aware of his own impulsivity. Perhaps he doesn't trust what he might do in a moment of impulse. The detective took Matthew to a restroom just down the hall from the interview room.
So I'm trying to go off with this with memory, and I'm pretty sure this is green. Or it's I'll just do both.
The detective is saying this as a tactic to essentially place the blame on himself for Matthew not being cooperative, to see if that has any positive outcomes.
I feel myself trying to let you down. I put Sarah down. I put everybody down. Sarah got recovered.
The detective may be trying to appeal to Matthew's feelings about Sarah. Earlier in the interrogation, he oddly stated that he took
I
care
like
of her.
colored pencils better than crayons.
She cried out. I took care of her.
The detective may be hoping that Matthew feels some shred of empathy for Sarah, so he'll provide them with the location of the other victims for Sarah's sake.
Everything I've told you has been the truth. But I'm being truthful with you now. I mean, it's not just about you, Matthew. It's about her. And I mean, like I said, I think I failed you. I failed her. Law enforcement, hey, I failed them before. But I mean, that's the package.
Did you hear any of our conversation?
And
No,
blending colors to me make it look a little bit better.
you're now, once I left here.
Do you want to tell her?
No, I was wondering if maybe she could listen to certain voices.
And I'm gonna try and
So,
do one of these
probably
every day that I'm at work, and I work
Matthew
this
revealed
job
something
4
to the
days a week,
detective
so I'm
in the
gonna
bathroom that he's concerned the female
try and
interviewer
get
will find out about.
coloring done 4
He may
days a
feel
week.
embarrassed for her to know either because she is a
Ugh.
female. or
I'm gonna
because
do
he
this
still wants to
one
appear like
today,
the
and I
victim
should
as
be
she
able
was
to finish
previously
it because
treating
it's so
him.
slow.
our conversation, like it's a this.
This, the only thing my intention, I'll be honest with you right now, is to sell crystals.
Let's go with like a cream in the middle, just so it's not
Okay?
white.
If you tell us, I will keep that private.
The detective quickly realizes he now has some leverage over Matthew and uses it to create a quid pro quo scenario. Matthew is about to unveil a disturbing and unexpected
same?
revelation.
No, but that would be good for like
It was just
inside. No, that's like brown, light brown. No,
awful. This is really disgusting stuff. Shit. That's something I can do.
brown, yellow.
You
No,
guys kill me.
From what I've
I don't
heard,
think that's the same. I think that was silver.
I would just hear them more. You know yourself's not gonna help
Oh, come
anybody,
on.
including yourself.
Yeah, just from that little bit of coloring, my fingers already hurt, but I can just deal with it. There we go.
With the food processing plant, where they shot food up, and that there were garbage bags there
Mhm.
that then he opened or looked in garbage can and bag, not sure which, and
Just so it's not
he saw,
white, but
you know,
this looks
body
horrible.
parts,
But oh well,
chopped up stuff,
it's my coloring.
and I'm not sure.
You guys will get a lot of days with me just coloring. In those days, I gotta figure out how I'm making it so you guys can see too.
The consequences in terms of trials and courts.
The detective reiterates Matthew's story as if he believes his version of events, but then makes it clear he's holding back additional information. This is to try to get Matthew to disclose the location of the bodies.
Man, in terms of this deal I'm offering you, okay, I mean, so to speak, okay, what Can you tell us
God.
what you do remember?
Jigglypuff looks fucked. Oh well.
I mean, it's my concern again is
Alright, we're gonna go
location. Can you
with.
tell us what you do remember?
Oh, this is like yellow.
Well, you know, I
Yellow.
want to talk about the offer you made to me. What's your damn
What's this one?
the day?
Golden yellow. There we go. There's two.
You figure you already feel that? I mean, you know, otherwise I.
Okay, now we're gonna go with Pikachu, and then I'm gonna do Eevee last.
You know, I would not say that. I would not give. See, what I'm figuring is that here's the others. I'll be right back to take over this, but I just want to throw something away.
I'm gonna try my hardest to do this every day I work. I have a really hard time remembering things and
Matthew's secret
actually
is that he
just
wants to be
following
shot by
through.
the detective. The detective agrees to keep this a secret so that he may be able to carry it out. This is all just a ploy to try to get Matthew to disclose the body's location, as he clearly cannot agree to kill him.
And then because if I shared that, then they would go to extreme measures to get everything out of me.
There's no trust in yourself. There's no way of proving it. There's no way you can just shoot me if everyone knows.
You know that.
If I try to save without legitimate reason.
But the bottom line is, what does all this have to do with not telling us where they are? How does that hurt things?
I understand.
Well, help me understand.
It's hard to tell if Matthew actually believes his claim about his dream, or if all of this is just him buying time or trying to play crazy.
That nobody thinks the person in this position who comes to this point does this of their own, through their own fault. I'm not gonna try and figure it all out, but I mean, I know, you know, your dad and mom split up when you were 3. You went through a life without a dad. That's a major impact.
And how about this? If you guys want the pages that I colored, tell me and I'll send them out.
His obsession with leaves and the fact that he accumulates a large collection of leaves in his home could be his way of coping with the abandonment issues related to his father, who reportedly was a firefighter. It's possible that setting fire to leaves, and thus his obsession with leaves, could be related to his hatred for his father or his desire for his father to notice him. People who feel lonely, hopeless, or empty inside often derive comfort from material objects because they might not be able to get the love and attention they want from people in their lives. As a result, they turn to obsession and fixations with things in order to feel less alone. In Matthew's case, accumulating large quantities of leaves may have brought him a feeling of fullness and comfort. However, it's also possible that Matthew may have some sort of mental illness and has some strange beliefs about leaves. One of the symptoms of schizophrenia is delusions. Yet Matthew doesn't seem to have schizophrenia, as he doesn't appear to be in a psychotic episode during these interrogations. When he does speak, he sounds clear, coherent, and he's aware of what's happening
Hate
around
coloring.
him. He doesn't appear to be responding to any internal stimuli, as you might expect with someone who is schizophrenic. To our knowledge, Matthew was never diagnosed with schizophrenia.
With all odds that I say this very genuinely, you are sitting in self-pity, and that doesn't even help you.
The female detective calls Matthew out for his self-pity and victim mentality. This is a sign that they are done using this theme to get him to speak, since allowing him to play the role of the victim has not produced any answers. She then directs him to think about the future and how he'll be viewed in the hopes this will get him talking.
You guys think something needs to
Oh, we have a pencil sharpener in here.
Well, I disagree on that. I think you do, and you can.
Matthew is intelligent and knows that if he tells them where the bodies are, there's no guarantee of any real benefit to him. The most likely way to get him to give up this information would be in exchange for a plea deal, such as removing the death penalty. However, given Matthew's expression of wanting to be shot, that may not be motivating to him.
They're pushing the prosecutor, pushing to have you come to have a hearing. This is it. This is your last chance to talk to us. literally. And
Well, this is a lawyer person.
that's what they're pushing for. You're saying, yeah, you're saying, you know, you're still on the office.
I swear there was a rental car car in
That's
here.
what's being done now as far as pushing for that.
I guess I go buy one for later.
Yes, right now.
They'll make decisions for you.
Yeah, they
They'll be-
will switch it on.
They make it sound like if you're free.
The detective knows that it's very important for Matthew to feel like he is the one in control and he is calling the shots. He makes it sound like if he gets a lawyer, the lawyer will be controlling him. He knows Matthew won't like feeling powerless.
And then the lack of media pressure can also take something that people that are, being affected by. It's hard, but
Okay. We're done. We apparently are told we're done. Keep everything we said in mind for you. Talk, think about it. Think about what you can do for yourself after you talk to an attorney.
it's gonna go my fast. No, they're gonna, they're gonna take you back down to jail because for security reasons, the attorneys can't be with you here, okay? Remember, public defenders have their own interests sometimes in this, use your head. Okay, you're a smart guy. Take care of yourself. I don't know if I have a chance we'll talk again, but
I hope you do. I hope we can talk to you again. They're here.
The detective ends things on a friendly note, calling him Buddy, and touches him on the shoulder as a last-ditch effort to leave a positive impression. This is in the hopes that he may at some point change his mind and confess to the location of the bodies. The big question here is Matthew's strange behavior in the interrogation all an act either for pity, attention, or a ploy to get an insanity defense? Or is what we are seeing actually the real Matthew? Matthew later revealed that he made up the entire story about his dream about the food processing plant, where he opened a trash bag and saw cut up body parts. He admitted that it was all a lie to try and get himself killed by the police, because he didn't want to be injected with Thorazine, an antipsychotic medication, for the rest of his life. He said he still didn't remember where the bodies were. In a written confession, Matthew admitted even more, telling the investigators that he'd been staking out Tina's home the night before the attack, sleeping in the woods across the street. The next morning, he watched as everyone left and then snuck into the home through the garage. His plan had been to burglarize the home and sneak away without anyone seeing him. He chose Tina's house because there weren't any close neighbors, and the door was often left ajar. However, Tina and Stephanie returned and caught Matthew in the act. He claimed he ambushed them in a panic. He wrote, "I was in a total state of shock. I wandered around the house, slowly coming to realization of what I'd done and how bad it was.
I just
During this
realized
time,
I forgot
I killed
Pikachu's
Tina's
other ear.
dog because it would not stop barking. It only got worse because then Sarah and Cody returned home. Matthew attacked and killed Cody before tying up Sarah." He wrote, "I did not enter the house to kill those people. I did not know a single one of them." Shortly after killing Tina, Stephanie, and Cody, Matthew drove to Gambier to collect gas cans from his own vehicle with the intention of burning down Tina's house. It was then that he was stopped by an officer who eventually let him go. He gave up his plan to burn down the house and instead returned to his own, where he built a campfire, burned his shoes, and drank a bottle of wine. On November 18th, Matthew finally cracked and agreed to show investigators the location of Tina, Cody, and Stephanie's bodies. It's unclear if Matthew's memory of what he did came back, or more likely, if he'd been lying about not remembering all along. He described the spot to officers where he dumped the bodies, hidden in the Cocosine Wildlife Area. As the detectives traveled through fields to a wooded area, other officers secured the perimeter. They eventually found a hollow beech tree that matched Matthew's description, which had a hole about 6 feet up from the ground. There was also a second larger hole near the branches. When an officer looked inside the hole, they spotted what looked like trash bags hidden inside the tree. Another hole was cut in the tree and the trash bags were examined, revealing remains belonging to Tina Herman, Cody Maynard, Stephanie Sprang, and Tanner the dog. Matthew later revealed he got the bodies inside the tree using the top hole and a rig and pulley system to drop them inside. There's some speculation that when Matthew worked as a tree trimmer, he had hollowed out the tree himself. On January 6, 2011, Matthew avoided the death penalty by pleading guilty to 10 felonies. After everything that was found,
I can
it was
remember
clear that Matthew
Pikachu's
had a
tail
bizarre obsession with leaves.
down here
Forensic psychologists
is
testified
brown,
that his leaf
not black.
obsession was delusional, and they believed that he may have hidden the bodies inside of a tree because it was familiar and comforting to him. Matthew Hoffman was then sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. That same month, his leaf-filled home went into foreclosure, and eventually the tree where the bodies had been hidden was cut down.
And then after Pikachu, we'll go to Eevee. I may not. No,
Night, Dada. We love you.
I guess I'll color in the background.
That's someone that knows her well. Asked me if you can put some boxes inside my in my storage, right?
I just wanted to tell you that I love you and that I miss you and that I can't wait to see you in the morning.
And so we were going through the stuff, and we really got there's a baby in there.
Say bye, Dada.
There's a baby in there. I just see the arm, and I just know it's a dead
Gray
body.
and white coat.
It was the worst type of crime imaginable. After a lackluster attempt to hide it within a leased storage unit, the concealed body of a tiny child had been uncovered. In just a few seconds, you'll witness a dramatic scene as a terribly distraught woman slides off the couch, bends over, and appears to start praying. However, you'll soon learn that the horrendous tragedy behind this display of emotion could have easily been diverted, if not for a twisted and shocking motive.
I'm gonna open it, I think. Oh, it smells. Just by based on the smell of your beard, so what I forgot what.
I know this guy has a kid. The guy that has the long.
Can I know what number?
No, we can put it in the start here.
Yeah. So there in this container, there's like some that smell, you get the smell. Sir, is it you and your wife that you live here also? Okay.
And then I was going to use gray to try and darken it a little
The
bit,
responding
which
officer is securing
it
the
did
area
help.
and awaiting the arrival of the sergeant so she can bring him up to speed.
So, you have to complain and pain. When I get your points to a food barrel, is like it's in there, and I look in this food barrel, and there's some decomp and there's a stick. So I did, what are you talking about? I can check if it's in there. See nothing in there. If I know it's in that bag.
There's a bag in the barrel.
Like it was a duffel bag. So he's like, I used that knife sitting on top of the box in his car to cut open that.
Hey, Joe, how
Okay,
long have you
now
known
we're going to
Tyler?
start on Eevee.
The first met him, I was in rehab in Lodge in Woodland. First met him about 18 months ago. He started working there.
18 months?
Monday when it's with that big box, whatever that is, either.
Okay, with the blue thing in it this
Yeah.
Monday. Okay.
Yeah.
And then later on, he brought the stuff that's in the other unit.
Yeah, because I called him, I go, what's wrong with you? I am so damn suspicious. Your wife, bring a box. And I told him, they go, I'm trying to get caught, because I thought it was drugs.
Right.
If you're trying to get me caught up or something, because I just pretty got off wrong, don't want to get a bunch of
Right.
And I threatened him, I go, if there's something that I find in here, or are you gonna get me in trouble? He goes, no, I promise you, there's nothing in there.
Okay.
But he was acting weird though. And then to rent a U-Haul with 3 boxes, that was really weird too.
Okay. Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah.
Okay. And then your daughter's the one that convinced you to open up.
Yep.
Okay. What nationality do you think Tyler is? Trying to block that spotlight from your face.
I think it's,
Actually, I'll stand right over
I
here.
think it's black or Puerto Rican, something like that.
Is he darker than you?
Yeah.
Darker than you.
Well, not really darker than me. He's kind of like different shades of dark.
Okay.
So he's probably about like my height. Anyways, probably like 150.
So he's slim and short. Okay. Do you know anything about him being married or anything like that?
He's married to that girl. Well,
He's married to somebody.
yeah, he's married to that girl. That girl came with him.
Oh, there was a girl with him when he came yesterday.
And kids.
Oh, there was kids with him. Oh, okay. And is she same look as him? Maybe Puerto Rican. She's definitely black. But you don't have any idea what her name might be. Okay.
How long does your camera store?
Oh, go way back.
Can you look up something for me?
That's Joe at the gate.
So is that the Yaris or is that it right there?
That's the Yaris right there.
Okay, but not the guy that we're interested in. How do I hit pause?
Oh, just right there. Oh, you gotta be on it. Okay.
Make a mental note of the white car, as this will be important shortly.
Phone number to the guy we're looking for. Do you have it?
Yeah.
We need it so they can look up the number and get the name right here. So he's from Reno.
Yeah.
Tyler,
Driver's
24.
license.
Oh,
So Friday the 11th, they showed up with the van and the hatchback. The hatchback. And then the 14th, the hatchback is with Joe. Okay.
So they ran his phone through the computer system, see what they came up with. So they got his driver's license number and everything. If you look on the other backside, that's his credit card that he's been using.
Okay.
You see it?
Okay. So we'll just go with this name as our possible suspect. Send a message to Reno, give them that horsepower, and see if they can confirm an address for him there, or confirm that is a good address in Reno. Have the supervisor send a message over there. So what is her story as to why they decided to check things out today? Wasn't she the one that was telling
She's been trying to convince her dad the whole time.
that something was wrong with the boxes?
He was not acting right.
And
She has no
she just thinks something's weird about him?
He's acting paranoid. She's
Okay.
He's really nervous, really paranoid. They leave.
All three?
She convinces dad, hey, that dude's weird. We need to go over here and look and see what's in those boxes.
Okay.
So she convinces dad to come over here. They come down here together to look inside those boxes.
Okay.
Because she did not get a good vibe from him.
Sacramento's CSI and homicide units have just discovered that a most dreaded class of cases has landed in their laps. Based on the driver's license information provided by a manager of the storage facility, law enforcement has set their sights on a young man by the name of Tyler Anderson. The 23-year-old resides in Reno, Nevada. The Sacramento Police Department contacts their counterparts in Reno, Nevada, and it is soon established that Tyler
I
is
want a
married to
vacation.
23-year-old Avriana
I'll be
Anderson.
taking my mom.
Around this same time,
And we're gonna go
back
to
in
Vegas.
Sacramento, police discover that
All
Tyler's
for free
phone is pinging
from the fair.
nearby. He's soon located and taken into custody. The Reno Police Department's robbery and homicide unit dispatches 2 detectives to the apartment of Tyler and Avriana at approximately 1:30 p.m. on May 16, 2018. The day after first responders were dispatched to the horrendous scene at the storage facility. As Avriana grants the detectives entry to her Reno residence, the convoluted horror story slowly begins to unfold. Even at first glance, the apartment is noticeably unkempt. A mattress has sprung across the living room floor, and the kitchen is filthy and littered with spoiled food. Avriana agrees to travel to the main station of the Reno Police Department, where she will be interviewed by the detectives. Tyler, on the other hand, asks for an attorney shortly after a Sacramento detective informs him of his rights. It's not until July 5th, 2019, after more than a year has passed, that Tyler emerges to explain his long-awaited version of events. Shortly after his arrest, though, he alluded to everything in a recorded prison phone call with his mother.
I hope that the truth comes out.
It's gonna come out. Like I said, it's gonna come out, and it's not gonna be what everybody wants to hear. It's not gonna be pretty. It's gonna be the truth, and it is what it is.
Until then, detectives will enter the interrogation room to speak with Avriana, and the process of untangling this tragic mystery that transformed a storage unit into a horrific crime scene will get underway. Avriana is situated in a room that doesn't appear to be typical for an interrogation. It should be decorated as minimally as possible, but it appears that Avriana was brought into a soft interrogation room that's usually reserved for victims of a crime or children. It's possible that Avriana is aware that she's being recorded, or that someone is watching her, so she's trying to garner some sympathy before the interview has even started. In any case, Avriana will soon reveal exactly why it is that she's not feeling well. And let's just say it's not due to some sort of stomach bug.
She's pregnant. Sorry. I'm watching Explore with Us on YouTube.
Detectives are seated directly in front of
There are
Avriana,
a whole bunch
with
of
no
true
barriers,
crime.
such as a
I
table
just
between
do it
them.
to pass my
This
time.
will allow them to fully observe her body language. The detective wastes little time. After a bit of small talk and rapport building, he gets down to the reason for this meeting.
Top Fire Sheriff Department and the Sacramento Police Department gave us a heads up that they're investigating what they believe to be a homicide or some sort of suspicious death. Okay. So that's our help to kind of facilitate this whole thing.
The detectives then thank Avriana
I
for coming
think
down to speak
tan
with
would
them
be
and
good.
express their appreciation, which they're
A
trained to
little
do
bit
under the
lighter.
Reed technique. This makes the suspect more
I
likely
like
to want
that.
to continue being seen as cooperative. Of course, her level of cooperation will be subject to change as the detectives begin to press her for more information.
The main thing I want to talk about, as my brother explained earlier, was your recent travels to Sacramento. Okay. So, in your own words, can you just kind of explain what that's about?
Well, we went down there, honestly, to get something changed, talk about.
Okay. We're under a past judgment, okay? Not our job to do that.
Avriana explains that she and Tyler went to Sacramento and purchased cocaine. She's conveniently failing to disclose the most significant reason for their travels. The detectives are aware of this, but they play along and attempt to make Avriana comfortable by behaving very casually and stating they're not judging her for her admission.
When did you guys go down?
I don't remember the exact date, but it was the day for yesterday.
Okay. What did you guys go down? What
And
did you
then
guys
I'm
take down?
going with light brown to color it in, since I'm coloring everything
Just a dresser?
with two different colors.
Few days ago.
And I'm going a little bit lighter with the brown.
Okay.
They continue on the subject of the dresser, and Avriana has confirmed that their children went along on the trip as well. Make a note of this, as it will be important later.
Where do you guys end up taking the dressers to?
To his friend's storage or something like that.
Do you know where that was?
No, I done with the city. No,
What city was it in?
Sacramento.
In Sacramento?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know who his friend was?
No, I don't know. That's how we're getting separated. You know, I don't really know him, I guess.
Avriana may be trying to distance herself from Tyler, possibly because she's planning to blame him for everything. Her potential defense being that she didn't know anything about what he did.
Yesterday, what did you do yesterday?
Coke. TBH.
Avriana may be trying to appear like she is being truthful and cooperative by revealing her illegal drug habits. However, her laughter before responding could be an indication that she's intentionally trying to show her indifference. She's confident that revealing her drug use won't bring separation.
Which kids went down with you?
It was me and my boys.
Okay. Alright. Is it types or type?
Yes.
Okay.
Papa 2, Lima 2, radio check.
I don't know.
Callie is mentioned here for the first time, while Avriana claims
Radio
not to
check.
know where the
Thank
little girl is. The disturbing truth about what exactly happened will be brought to light before this very interrogation comes to an end.
So who is Callie's well? Do you know who Callie's well?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do.
Now I'm gonna work on the Pokeballs, and then the Ultra Balls, and then the
Tyler had custody.
We've had custody.
Master Ball. So Pokeball first,
She's not too
and I'm gonna get on the white and try my best to make the balls white.
Because that's the university is.
Those two.
All around. Drama.
Always drama.
Avriana definitely makes no attempt to hide her disdain for Leilani, Callie's biological mother. Tyler is more forthcoming with regards to Leilani and how their daughter Callie came to be. It's July 5th, 2019, more than 13 months after his arrest and Avriana's account.
I was with Leilani in Sacramento, there with Brett when she got pregnant.
Just a couple months later, Avriana came along and Leilani had already left the picture.
I met Avriana in February 2012. Started hanging out with her.
I'm gonna get all the red part first
Found out that
on all the Pokeballs and then go with the second color.
Told Avriana about it. She got upset. Right, we got into this big fight. So I started using cocaine, and then.
At this point, Tyler violated his probation that had resulted from past substance abuse.
I went to the treatment program, New Foundation. So, staying with her mom. I wasn't there for her when she was born.
Tyler says that his mother brought baby Callie to meet him for the first time. Despite this normally being a joyous occasion, Avriana was not happy about this, to say the least.
You know, she wants us to spend time together. She and my mom were never, they never saw eye to eye. They never had a good relationship. So she was upset, and you know, she was talking about me. So if you don't come back.
This type of threat is a form of manipulation and is an obvious red flag for an unhealthy relationship. Tyler tells the detective about another occasion where he spent time with Callie when he was granted a furlough for Christmas of 2012. This time, Avriana was livid. Yet upon his release in March of 2013, he moved into her apartment. Shortly thereafter, while Tyler was visiting Callie and his mother, Avriana attempted to take her life and landed herself in the hospital, according to Tyler. Avriana's jealousy toward Callie was a huge red flag that should have warned Tyler away early in the relationship. Yet he stayed with her. In the fall of 2013, while Tyler was in the process of seeking full custody of Callie, she went to live with her father and Avriana. At that time, she was just 13 months old. And they agree things were good in the beginning. In hindsight, however, this short span represented the calm before the storm that was quickly approaching.
So I go to work and then I leave with Avriana. I would come home and they would be playing, you know, she would teach her how to read, she's teaching her how to walk, you know, she's showing her how to cook, vacuuming, right? That's a little vacuum, she's pushing Avriana. Avriana's showing a lot of love. You know, they had a good relationship, you know, in the beginning.
And we got her, and she was just a baby. And I just remember looking at her and I'm like, oh God, this is so cute. And I remember the first night we got her, I cried. I was holding her and I cried. And I was just like, she was just a baby, you know, well, maybe, but she just looked like her dad, you know, and I was there, you know, like, I want to love you, you know, I'm gonna take care of you.
Avriana presented an idea to Tyler sometime in early 2014.
You know, I think that we should get married so that we can solidify your chances of getting full custody.
Naturally, she disguised the real motive behind her proposition.
That's weird. They give a whole bunch of Pokeballs,
she was a mother to Callie and
two Ultra Balls, and
it would turn out that this could not be
like
further from the truth.
5 Master Balls.
To get married, Avriana also wanted to have a child with Tyler. His mother had warned Avriana not to go playing house with her son. However, it seemed this was precisely her plan. A baby would further bind them together, and the already volatile situation would continue its trajectory toward inevitable disaster. Despite any trepidation Tyler may have felt, he went along with Avriana's plans.
The medication that she was taking, her bipolar depression medication, was probably the reason why she wasn't able to get pregnant. So she stopped taking that before we got married in 2014. So in January, she got pregnant.
It's unknown if Avriana gradually stopped the medication she was allegedly taking under a doctor's orders. It's important to note that it can be dangerous to suddenly stop taking medications prescribed to treat mental health disorders, and it can cause a sharp increase in symptoms. The first son shared by Avriana and Tyler was born on Halloween of 2014. It was no coincidence that soon after, Tyler would arrive home from work to find Callie exhibiting noticeable injuries.
And I would ask Abraham how she got him, and she said, oh, she bumped her head because she was playing, or she's chasing her brother as she fell, or she's just clumsy like her dad,
Things would drastically worsen over time. The years, including aggression.
If she would do something that she wasn't supposed to do, I'd be like, okay, you're gonna stand in the corner. You're 5. You'll stand in the corner for 5 minutes. Like stuff, like how I was raised. That's what, that's how I was raised. So I only go off how I was raised.
Abriana is clearly agitated. Her demeanor is confrontational and defensive. She's showing clear signs of discomfort. She's rubbing her arms, which is a self-soothing movement used by individuals who are beginning to experience increased anxiety. Tyler places blame for the abuse on Abriana as the primary caregiver. However, as her parent, he is legally and morally obligated to protect his child and remove her from an abusive environment. Tyler wasn't the only one who took note of Callie's injuries. His Aunt Maylene eventually contacted CPS. She claimed to have observed firsthand the physical abuse and neglect imposed on the little girl who was only 3 years old at the time. This particular chain of events started in April of 2015, when Tyler returned home from a day of attending college classes to find something quite unnerving.
Left hand, it was Saran wrap. It had olive oil and Vaseline on it.
It was a terrible sight. Callie's tiny hand had been badly burned. When Tyler allegedly inquired as to how the injury had occurred, Abriana claimed that the water was too hot that morning when she had washed Callie's hands. The explanation was completely implausible. It wasn't an honest mistake, but rather an intentional, cruel act.
Abriana tells me, because her and my family are right away. They're on and off. So she tells me that I have to tell my family that it was my fault, that I was the reason. Because if I don't, then they already think that she's mean to. So they're gonna think that she's abusing her, right? They're too nice, they're too soft to their kids, they're too weak, right? Things like that. So
I'm gonna just do it like this.
we go to
I'm gonna get so I know which one to go.
And then, my aunt asked about the, her hand injury, and that's when I said, I was mopping, and then I came in and, put her hand in the water and got burned.
Not surprisingly, Tyler's Aunt Maylene didn't buy his story. Not at all. A few months later, at another family gathering that occurred on October 10th, Maylene, along with other relatives, were stunned when they observed that Callie appeared to have lost a significant amount of weight since the previous time they'd encountered her in July. According to Maylene, Callie was seen devouring food, even eating off plates that belonged to others. That was when Maylene contacted CPS. In mid-October of 2015, CPS met with Tyler and Abriana in their home. True to form, Abriana asked Tyler to accept blame for Callie's hand injury yet again.
CPS comes, I told him the same thing, I was mopping, and then she put her hand in the water, and then I looked up, had a heel of 3rd-degree burn, right? Did everything I said, she was good to go, no pain.
The fact that Abriana manipulated Tyler into taking responsibility for his daughter's burned hand and Tyler agreeing to lie to his family and CPS shows the dynamic of their relationship and, if true, how he potentially favored his wife over the well-being of his own child. In addition to the concerns about potential abuse, Tyler's family also worried that Callie wasn't being fed.
His people have said, his family has said that she wasn't eating enough or something like that, and I think that's another reason why they called. But why would they say that? I guess because she was thin.
But thin was an extreme understatement.
What was the end result of them checking on you,
Everything was fine. They closed the case. They closed the case because she's clearly wasn't being abused. You guys can't judge a book by its cover. You know, just because I'm stressed doesn't mean I'm just abusing my daughter because she did this. And that's what I told the CPS people.
Okay.
They talked to her, looked at her, checked her. Of course, everything was fine. You know, I'm just disciplining her. I'm just little pops, okay? You know, you guys are making it seem like I'm punching her or we're not. No, not you guys, but the family. You know, they were making it seem like, oh, I was abusing her. Oh, she's depressed. So we need to send CPS over there. You know, so that's how that went. Yeah.
You know, 2 days after, so CPS ends up leaving, you know, they say, okay, we don't see any signs of abuse, you know, because, was always loving to Ariana, you know. So they thought everything was normal.
Actually, the report described the findings to be inconclusive. It also stated that the concern was that Tyler and Ariana were using excessive or inappropriate methods of
Sure. She had the belt, and I get in front of her, and I'm holding Ariana back. You know, and she's trying to climb over me to get me. And she's telling me, you know, you always save her. You know, you can't always save her.
As time went on, the cruel acts Ariana inflicted upon Callie continued to increase in severity. Tyler tells of one particular evening when he arrived home from work and encountered what can only be described as a terribly distressing sight. And yet the question why is still left unanswered for now.
I go to the bathroom, right? And she's in there, and she saw me in Maverick's cage.
Note that Maverick is the alleged family dog that Tyler claimed Ariana wanted, then left his care solely up to Tyler. He was kept in a kennel in the main bathroom at the Anderson apartment. Apparently, this was the alternative to imposing other physical abuse on Callie, since Tyler had allegedly told Ariana not to use her hands or objects as punishment toward Callie.
You know, and the first time I was getting her out of the cage, you know, what is she doing? She's not crying. She's not crying, and she's not hurt, she's not bruised, right? You know, what the hell is she doing in this cage? You know, Ariana said that, you know, she pushed her brother.
Tyler appears to be hiding his eyes, which could be an indication of deception. Or it may be that he doesn't want to see the detective's reaction to what he is divulging. His claims concerning Ariana's behavior suggest she is unstable and impulsive. This may indicate the presence of a personality disorder, as this extreme behavior suggests that Ariana lacks empathy and remorse and has a poor moral conscience. Ultimately, we see that the abusive behavior continues to head in a tragic direction. The detectives return to a troubling issue, which they glossed over previously: Callie's unknown whereabouts.
Is that normal for her to be gone this long a time?
I mean, sort of, because she would stay with his mom, you know, and stuff like that.
Contrary to Ariana's claim, it's known that Callie never stays with Tyler's family. Things are beginning to become problematic for Ariana. They shift to Tyler and his involvement, or lack thereof, in the household, as he has been working 2 jobs.
You know, with Mower, there's like normal working hours usually.
10 to 9, 10 to 8, 10 to 7.
Okay.
The fact that Tyler is away from the home for so many hours of the day casts doubt on Ariana's claims that he was the primary caretaker of his daughter. Things just aren't adding up.
When did you actually last talk to Tyler? Today?
Well, right.
So it was 1.
Ariana called Tyler around 1 earlier that afternoon. She'd just woken up. It just so happens that she was sleeping off her most recent round of cocaine.
And you asked him where he was at that time?
No.
Didn't care, or?
I was actually TBH, so I was like, I really just wanted to go back to sleep.
Did Tyler ever tell you when he was coming back home?
I don't know that. I feel like that probably he could have been going to get her.
Okay. Did you see where he was going to get her from?
No.
But detectives know that was definitely not the case. As they seem to have hit a wall, they light a little fire under Ariana.
We just got a phone call, and we got some more information. You're talking to Tyler, okay? Your daughter, she wasn't at somebody else's house, she was at your apartment this entire last week. week and this entire time since you guys have moved here. Okay. So so she's living with you guys, right? It's the 5 of you.
But she doesn't seem fazed. Despite their questions, the detectives already know the child is deceased. What they don't yet know, however, is what caused her death and to what extent Avriana was involved. They also need to determine the disturbing motive.
Has she at all recently?
No.
But she's 5 years old though.
Yeah.
When's the last time she went to any kind of a physical or any kind of doctor?
Probably when we lived in Woodland.
Okay.
Of course, Avriana has another excuse as to why everything has deteriorated. She adds an interesting detail to her account of recent events.
There's been acid lately.
I guess there's only 2. I thought I said it, there was 3, but oh well.
What do you mean by saying that?
They're police. Like, my mind just hasn't been there.
Okay.
You know, like,
what's going on in your mind?
I don't even know why I moved the back.
just been going through a lot of stuff.
I needed to
I don't have anybody to talk to.
We're here to listen to you right now.
Because I wanted to call.
Okay.
It's possible that Avriana's admission is her way of trying to deflect responsibility or explain her neglect of their sons in Cali. The detective leans in toward Avriana now and has his elbows on his knees. This is done to show that he is engaged, and he wants to try to get her to mirror this open demeanor. Often suspects will assume this position when they confess. Avriana fails to confess, but she does explain more about cocaine's recent role in their lives.
My relationship has been, you know, and that's what we used to do back in the day, you know, with each other. We used to do that, and I felt connected to him. So that makes me feel connected to my husband.
You can tell you're looking quite a bit lately.
That we have been, right?
So what usually happens after you guys do that kind of stuff?
We talk. We talk. That's okay. We talk.
What y'all talk about?
She makes a powerful statement when she reveals the dire condition of their relationship. The drug use, which she alleges has very recently become a regular habit, just adds more fuel to the already raging fire. However, this is a common theme in relationships between addicts. When they aren't using, they have nothing that connects them. Tyler's version is different. There's much more to these supposed drug-induced chats than bonding.
And she just said there's... She's done terrible things that she can't apologize for, you know?
These aren't the only times Avriana confesses her deepest, darkest, most horrifying secrets. In fact, she also makes a shockingly damning statement to the police.
All my kids are small. I mean, all our kids are small. But even her, she's not fat. But you see my 4-year-old, she's not. I have small kids. Small kids. But I think Tyler, well, you see guys, we're both short, so I don't know. But yeah, she ain't.
She's been eating normally.
I'd say.
After such a slip of the tongue, it's clear that Avriana knows much more than she's letting on. Just how much does she know? That's the million-dollar question. But detectives are determined to get to the heart of it. They soon sense that it's time to try a different tactic. This one is sure to throw Avriana off.
No bullshit here, okay? We're talking to Tyler. All right, and we're getting a different version than from what you're saying. And if we're gonna go with what he's saying and just his side of the story, that's not fair to you.
When the detective attempts to play Avriana against Tyler, he's using a self-serving tactic intended to motivate Avriana to tell her side of the story. As Avriana and Tyler are the only living individuals who know the truth behind Callie's death, Avriana has to wonder if Tyler is really talking.
a bad mom.
We're trying to look at you and find out what's her side, because there's always two sides to the story.
The question she poses to the detective in response to his claim clearly shows her apprehension, and her reaction definitely is not lost on the detectives. The detective doesn't answer Avriana's question, but changes the subject and inquires as to how long she's been absent. They suspect there's a direct correlation between her supposed disconnection and Callie's death.
You've been disconnected for the past how many, what would you say, weeks, months?
Probably longer.
Okay. Well, I see you counting with your fingers.
Yeah,
so there's something significant that occurred, or something significant, or something where you're gauging it with your fingers, like, okay, since this time, it's been this many months. So what is that? How many months?
Really, probably after I had my son.
Okay.
Avriana and Tyler's second son was born the previous October, 6 months earlier. It seems those last several months were quite a whirlwind. A new baby in addition to 2 other small children to care for. And all the while, balancing a dark secret.
Excuse me, sorry.
Detectives are starting to make some headway. Avriana's story has suddenly changed. Now she claims that over the past few months, Callie has been complaining of stomach pain and was vomiting roughly twice a month. Of course, she wasn't taken to a doctor for any type of evaluation.
Dang, I might have a home remedy.
What kind of home remedies would you try?
I don't know, it was on there. It was on the internet, I guess.
Okay, so what did you try from the internet?
As far as just throwing up. Watching what she ate.
Tyler takes us to the month of April, just a few weeks before police were dispatched to Joe's storage unit, and gives his account of Callie's recent health issues.
You know, she looked up a lot of stuff online, and she said, you know, I'm a family doctor, you know, I take care of my family, I'm a stay-at-home mom, you know, that's what I do. You know, I can figure it out, right? So,
How are you disconnecting yourself? How do you disconnect yourself from?
I just let everybody else deal with her. I'm just like, okay, I just feel tired.
But you being disconnected, do you think that's part of her health not doing so good?
And so we
Don't come back with her. Why?
We see the detectives utilize a step of the Reed technique known as positive confrontation here. When they confront Avriana with the fact that they know Callie didn't come back from California, she averts her eyes and is silent. If she truly had nothing to do with Callie's disappearance, she likely would have adamantly denied it instead of sitting in silence. As Avriana appears to be contemplating something, perhaps a confession, she poses the next question.
You guys talk to Tyler?
Yes. And my concern with Tyler would be if he is saying something that is putting it on you. That's my concern. So I know about Clara.
What about the storage unit?
We know about the storage unit.
Know about your trip?
Okay.
There's no going back at this point. It's out in the open now.
So how did it happen? What happened?
No one been
That day or that night, what did you say happened?
The idea of revealing what happened to Callie seems to bring up real emotion, but it may just be that Avriana is only concerned for herself and is aware that she's likely going to jail after this interview. The latter is a more likely explanation given her demeanor up to this point. It's also likely that she's thinking of her 2 biological children, as she knows she's at risk of not being able to see them again. Whatever the explanation may be, we'll finally hear 2 accounts of the recent events surrounding the death of little Callie. Unspeakable details will be brought to light, but the lack of consensus between the stories will leave you reeling, wondering where the horrific truth actually lies. Please be forewarned, the details you're about to hear are quite disturbing.
I might be at around 5.
Tyler continues listing off the chores he did upon arriving home, including cleaning up after and walking the dog.
And then she said, you know, there's somebody to show you. So, I said, what is it? You know, and then she goes in her room. She brings out in her hand, you know, and her arm, some lifeless, you know, slim, lifeless. And she wanted to breathe her. So, I started doing CPR.
Trying to help.
How did you try to help?
CPR.
CPR. Who was doing CPR?
They both were.
What you're trying? How long you trying?
So long.
Tried doing stomach compression, you know, for Aaron or lungs, right?
I don't remember how much time went by. But it's just so long. It was unbelievable.
It was complete chaos, as Tyler describes it. Amongst his attempts to administer CPR, the dog's panic barking, and the other two children crying out for their parents behind the closed door of a bedroom.
I keep trying CPR, you know. I told her it's not working, you know. We had called an ambulance.
Yeah, so lovely, it's already.
She said, I didn't call an ambulance, you know. I can't go to prison, you know. If you call the ambulance, I'm not killing you, you know. You have to save your daughter, you know CPR, you know. You're certified, you have a card, you know. You have to save your daughter.
So Tyler. Because he said he knew CPR. He said he knew CPR. Yeah, but, yeah, I got the CPR card, whatever.
Did you call anyone? Call 911? Why did you call animal purpose? Why not?
So I grabbed my phone. I said, I'm gonna call the ambulance. I can't help her, you know. And she snatches the phone from me. She throws it at the pantry, or at the wall right next to the pantry, whatever. And it's the floor, and
Tyler then claimed that he attempted to leave the apartment.
it was 3 hours, I don't know.
It was too late.
Eventually, you know, I put my ear to her heart, you know, I thought I heard her heart stop beating, you know. She was dead, you know. I don't know. There was just a lot going on, but she was dead, you know. I'm holding her in my arms, and she's dead, you know. And I started, you know, crying. Saying that I let her die, you know, I couldn't save her. That it was my fault.
Adriana stepped away and checked on the other children at this point.
So I go, and I have a duffel bag, I put in the duffel bag.
Who took care of that? So you didn't put her in the bag? Did he tell you what he was going to do?
Adriana had tended to their boys while he'd placed Callie in the bag.
After they were settled, she went to the bathroom to smoke. Maverick's in there, and then she called me in there.
So kind of walk us through what was the game plan? Or what did you guys come up with?
It wasn't really a plan.
She's asking me, you know, what are you gonna do, Tyler? What's your plan, you know? This is your fault, you gotta fix this. I told her, I need to tell somebody, you know, I need help, you know. I need help, and she said, no, you're not gonna tell anybody. If you tell somebody, her brothers are gonna get taken away, you know. This is God's plan, you know.
Though Tyler and Adriana both alleged that there was really no plan to handle the situation initially, the efforts to cover up Callie's death commenced immediately. They began by removing evidence from their home, including the rug where Callie laid during the alleged CPR and a sweater of Tyler's that he placed over her when it was confirmed that she was dead.
So Ariana says she wants to take the stuff and throw it away somewhere. And she's not gonna allow me to stay because she doesn't trust me. You know, she thinks I'm gonna call the police on it. So she said, you have to come with me so that I know that you won't turn me in, you know.
To make matters even worse, they had the audacity to leave their infant and toddler sons alone in the apartment. In addition, Tyler has admitted to committing the crime of tampering with evidence by disposing of the items in a dumpster. The horror continued in the days following Callie's death. Tyler asserts that the day after Callie died, Avriana had devised a plan to cover it all up. And as you're about to hear, it's absolutely diabolical.
She wants to go to California and she wants to burn the body under a bridge near Woodward. And I tell her, no, you know, I'm not doing it, you know, and she said, remember what I told you last night, you know, I'm doing this my way, and if you get my way, I'm gonna leave, you know, I'm not going to prison for this. I'm not losing my son, you know. I didn't think I was safe, I didn't think my son was safe, you know.
Tyler is rationalizing his behavior, but his claim about how he didn't feel that he or his sons were safe doesn't fit with going along with Avriana's plan to get rid of the child's remains. If you found that plan disturbing, you'll be appalled at Avriana's ideas that came next.
And then she said, matter of fact, I should just put the bag in the Sacramento River, you know, leave it on the train track, you know. Then she said no, because even if she gets ran over by a train, they can still identify her, you know. So she said, no, I'm just gonna burn her body, you know.
The thought that Avriana allegedly concocted such barbaric ways to dispose of Callie's body is beyond comprehension. She even devised a morbid plan to ensure Tyler wouldn't abandon her or turn her in during the interim between Callie's death and her body being left at the storage
You know what?
unit.
Good enough for me. I don't care to color the rest in. Thanks for watching. Bye.